And you, to come back in '98 to do that after the summer with Sergei and Vlatty, that the toughest season of your career, to rally the team to do what you guys were able to do and believe?
I didn't think so. I mean, that was really like emotional and devastating, the accident, and seeing. You know, fortunately, Slava was able to make it through as injuries, but with Vlatty and Sergei Manatskhanov, sorry. Really, every time you see them, like from day one of the accident, it was like very, very emotional, and not, but almost like playing the games was cathartic. I don't know if that's the right word, but just come to the rink and play, and no pressure, and even once we get into the playoffs, it was we just played. I think we felt we're going to win the cup again. I know we're going to win the cup. We got a good enough team, and it was, if anything, it was easier to play. It was, you know, like you see the guys, you're hoping they're going to get better, and they did get better to some extent, but never to get back to where they were prior to the accident. And to this day, you get a chance to see Vlatty around. You know, you automatically think back to him as a player, what he was, his ability to communicate off the ice, his personality. Everything is different about him, and you had in my opinion, he'd be in the Hall of Fame today. We had him and Nick on D, the two best defensemen in the league for the next 15 years. So
remember the scene in Washington in Game 4, and Vlatty was there. I didn't get to see. I saw Vlatty play from afar, but when I came to Detroit, it was the season after that. But you loved Vlatty.
Oh my, he was a monster. I mean, he was an interesting character coming from the Russian side, and he knew no boundaries. He didn't care. I don't know if he even knew. It didn't matter. He would go through the wall, and nothing bothered him. And what a lot of people didn't know is he had such a great sense of humor. Oh my God. I remember I interviewed him in Calgary. I don't know if it was the night that Scotty put him together or not. And he was reluctant to do it. And I said, well, why don't we do it? We'll just tape it, and if you don't like it, we won't use it. So sure enough, we had some fun, and I got him to sing in broken English and Russian, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, back to the fans in Detroit. And we got all done, and he goes, what do you think? I said, they're gonna love it. And then he goes, Mickey, how's my hair? How's my hair? I go, you're good, don't worry about it. He was great. And I'd see him with the Lindros hit in that playoff series.
Yeah, Howard Chuck.
And they played that Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood. Oh my God. Yeah, that was great memories of him always, even now. But then when he was playing, jeez, he was a warrior for sure. Yeah, it was great.
So outside of Lidstrom, who would be the greatest Red Wing defenseman in either one of your time for a shorter time? Would it be
that I played with? I mean, obviously Vlatty was unbelievable. And everyone just, you just talk about one of the fiercest competitors that played our game. That was Vlatty, and just durable too. Like he could deliver hits like pound for pound like no other, and probably just as important, he could take hits too, which a lot of people obviously can't. And that was something that was great about Vlatty. And he had offense. He could score. He scored some big goals for us. And when that Russian five started snapping it around, you could see the pride that Vlatty had, and obviously the skill that he had as well. So I would say Vlatty was unreal. And then the two that I would touch on as well that I was fortunate to win a cup with as well. Obviously Nicholas Kronwall, the way that he played, and very similar to Vlatty as well, the way he competed, and amazing how his build, I think, he might have got to 185 pounds, and he hit like he was about 235 pounds the way he hit players. But great player in all situations as well. And probably one of a huge add for us that year was Brian Rafalski. The way that Rafalski played, like a smaller defenseman, but I'm not sure we win the cup in '08 without Rafi. That's how good he was for us. And our top four that year was Swede and Rafi, it was Kroner and Brad Stewart and Stewie. And you know, that top four was unbelievable of how good they were, and Rafi scored some big goals for us. So, you know, I would say, you know, Vlatty, obviously Nick 1, Vlatty 2, Kroner 3, and Rafi 4, and was, like I said, able to play with some greats.
Longer tenured, but concur with that?
Yeah, and then I had, although we didn't win a cup, we had Paul Coffey here, who won a Norris Trophy here, was one of the all-time great offensive defensemen in the NHL. And then it was at the end of his career, but Brad Park for 2 years I played with here, and like great hands, cannon for a shot, and just an outstanding hockey sense. And he was playing on no knees, you know, he was just playing on experience and skill. But those would be the top, I would think, along the way for me. And you know, I think Kroner just came in just when I retired, but obviously watched his career, and fantastic player as well.
You're right about Vlatty on the offensive side. Remember that goal he scored on Belfour from a distance out? I thought the year before he got hurt that he'd have a really good chance to win the Norris. I'm not sure who, maybe McInnes won it that year, one of the really top offensive guys with a big shot. But that would have been it for him. I thought maybe a chance.
In the shortened season, did Koff beat him out? Was that the '95 when Koff won the Norris with us, right? I thought Vlatty might have finished second that year, to your point. And,
Yeah.
I mean, just
He was that good.
yeah, he tore his Achilles, right, playing tennis, and he comes back, 3 months later, he's playing in the NHL, you know, just unreal of how he was. And the amazing thing is like, it wasn't by accident, because he was like that in practice. You know, like you had to keep your head up against Vlatty in practice too, because he was coming. So he was absolute and fierce competitor. Yeah.
And as we celebrate the centennial season of hockey in this wonderful city of Detroit, your guys' time here, we're going to do one-timers, because hockey players love one-timers. Most superstitious player you ever played with? And this could be for you too, if there is one. And if you're speaking of yourself, you can, but most superstitious player you ever saw?
Superstitious / routine, is that, I'd say Brendan Shanahan.
Name a routine perhaps that he did.
Well, one thing he always needed, no matter the shift going out for a power play, he needed, because he used the aluminum sticks, remember they were kind of slippery, and he always needed this dry and a rub. That's what he always said. So trainer had to dry the stick, rub it down, hand it back to him, then he'd always kind of give it like the blade a little knock. That was something I always noticed from him. He had a lot of routines going on. He doesn't want to say he was superstitious, but he had a lot of routine going on.
That would be Shanny.
Yeah.
Steve, how about you?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody, but when Drapes brings up Shanny, yeah, he had few routines along the way.
Were you?
Yes and no, not really. More routines. Yeah.
You?
I used to like to tap the goalie on the blocker, hit up underneath behind the crossbar, stick my blade up in there right before we'd get her going.
I thought you always said you'd go tap the goalie before the game and say, see you after the game.
That's right. Yeah, do your job, earn your money.
Most annoying player you've played with? It could be
For
good
us
annoying.
or the other team?
No.
Well, obviously Kirk Maltby. Yeah, I mean that's he would annoy us, but he would definitely annoy the other team.
He
no
never
doubt.
shut up.
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah, Maltz it never annoyed me, but yeah, he would certainly, the other team would drive him nuts. Drapes did a good job at that too.
Loudest player?
Loudest player. Holly?
Holly was loud.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Holly was loud, yeah.
I sat beside him, so I got a lot of that.
Sean Burr, God rest his soul, was very talkative. Wouldn't call him loud, but he was, Sean, always chatting, always
He always
upbeat.
had something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that, you talk about Holly, we have to talk, that 0-2 team. What was it like being a part of that? All the Hall of Famers, that 0-2 team.
It was a fun year. We had it was a fun year. I think we had the Olympics that year too. We had the break. Didn't put a whole lot of thought into that. It was one, we had a good team and everybody had fun playing together. Like I think everybody treated everybody as equals, and we just had a lot of fun. We had a lot of different guys from all different worlds, different personalities, and we had a lot of fun. And ultimately ended up winning the cup that year. But yeah, it was just a really.
Was there?
No.
Mostly.
No, I think it was
You guys were all
because
had-
Dandy was young, Fish was young.
Pavel was 21. Boyd Devereaux would have been 23, maybe at that, 24 at that time.
Yeah.
Dandy was 25-ish.
Yeah.
But
Most
yeah.
of you guys knew exactly where you were in life and on the ice, and you kind of were able to, I think, it seemed like enjoy what you were doing a lot more than normal.
Yeah, we had a pretty good regular season, right? Like, or kind of winning games and just playing, and we got to the playoffs to change a little bit, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of like big personalities, guys that have had a lot of success. So, but the egos weren't an issue at all. And
It was a great dressing room. There was, just like Stevie said, the personalities were something else. And I think in the regular season we just went out and played and kind of embraced it, and we knew we had a really good team and a talented team. And I think in the playoffs, as soon as that started, it was now all of a sudden everyone starts talking about the team and the group, and Dom made it notice that he was coming to Detroit to win a Stanley Cup, and Luke wanted a trade to Detroit to win the Stanley Cup, and that was something that was brought up there. And obviously it didn't start out too well when we ended up losing the first 2 games at home against Vancouver. That was a long plane ride out to Vancouver going down 0-2, but that was one of my memories of Stevie is we landed and called a players only meeting at the hotel, and we went in and just basically convinced everyone that what, we're all right, we're going to win game 3 and we're going to go from there. And I don't know if he knew we were going to win game 3 and then win 4 in a row and win in 6, but it sure sounded good at the time, coming from Stevie.
I think I called Dom getting a shutout too. I was going all in
right
on that one.
And
he scored a shutout.
Yeah.
Holy jump.
Yeah, I do remember getting on the plane down 0-2 and walking on right behind you, and you turned to Scotty and to Kenny and you said, "We're not losing this series." And I thought, boy, I feel a lot better now. And away you went, and then all the fans booing the team bus
Getting
and
off the
waiting for us
bus.
at the
Yeah.
airport
Yeah.
in Vancouver.
Parade
and,
of cars with brooms
Yeah.
and honking
Yeah.
horns.
Yeah, and Kenny Holland turned to us and he
Oh,
said,
boy.
"This is perfect," because our bus was really quiet, and Kenny said, "This is perfect." I'll leave you with this one, so maybe a thought. Obviously Lidstrom's in the top 3, I would think, but most skilled Red Wings you've played with, and we'll give you top 3. How's that? And in no particular order, whatever you want. Forwards, defense.
Yeah, I'll obviously go with Stevie. The way he was able to in the offensive zone do what he was able to do in the offensive zone. But for me, obviously, being able to watch Stevie away from the puck, and just the importance of how he knew about winning faceoffs, the little things, the intangibles of the game that were really kind of the only reason why I was a part of the Detroit Red Wings, and watching him work on those things was something that I'll never forget. His work ethic on and off the ice, and Stevie didn't even know how much he was impacting all of us, and especially the younger guys. So I'd put Stevie there. Obviously Nick Lidstrom, Swede, was incredible. His his hockey sense, his hockey IQ, his poise, the ability to score big goals when we needed them in big games was unbelievable of how Nick could do that, and just as impressive. It seemed like every shift in the playoffs he was playing against the other team's best players night in and night out, 28, 30 minutes a night, wouldn't matter, and Swede would just go do it. And then I got to go 3 and 4. I have to go with Henrik Zetterberg and Pavel Datsyuk. Just the run that we had in 2008 with those guys, obviously the Conn Smythe shift that Henrik had in Pittsburgh. Henrik was, his inner compete, the way he burned for it was something special. It's something that you just can't teach. Henrik had it. And then obviously Pavel, the skill and the goals and the highlight goals that he was able to do, the takeaways, and obviously, all the Selke trophies that he won, and deservedly so. So, I could go on all day about the players that I was able to play with. It was an amazing run from, for almost 18 years here, and something special to watch not only some of the greatest Red Wings of all time, but some of the greatest players of all time. So I would say that those would be my my top 4.
Well, your list may vary because he had you first, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, we're just talking skills and
Yeah,
athletic
skill, yeah,
ability. And again, it's hard to just name 3, but 3 that really stand out. Nicholas Lidstrom. For me, the one underrated part of his game is how good of an athlete he was, because he made it look so easy. But he was, we rate these players now and whatever. He's 5 out of 5 on hockey sense, competitiveness, his puck skills, and everything. But just a tremendous all-around athlete. The ability to, puck's coming rimmed around the wall in the offensive zone. He's got a winger bearing down on him. The puck's a foot in the air, and he'll just kick up his foot, knock it down with his foot, put it on his blade, and either get it on net or find the open guy. Those are, I always compare him to Roger Federer. He was the Roger Federer of hockey, made it look effortless. And then the 2 forwards, there's so many great players, but just pure athletic ability and skills are Pavel and Sergei. There's skills and skating ability. Everything they could do was at a whole other level, and Sergei's was, I think, natural, and Pav just worked at it. He's goofing around after practice, trying all these little things that we would never dream of trying or doing in a game, and he would do them in a game, and he made them look so natural. It wasn't hot dogging or anything, it just like incredible skilled hockey players. And I could go on about Igor and even Shanny's abilities, and a lot of players going all the way back to the Brad Parks and Brett Hulls, and forget if we had a goalie, you throw Dom in there, we were very lucky to play with great players, and but those would be my top 3 for just pure hockey ability.
And you, and the fact you played with Gordy, but who are your top 3?
It'd be pretty easy for me.
His list is harder than our list, because he played with 2 organizations, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, here,
Yeah, here. Let's go with here.
Pretty
You're
easy
right.
for
With
me.
Montreal, yeah, forget. Let's go
Yeah.
with here, yeah.
pretty easy, really. With Gordy and Alex, right off the bat, and Alex played for over 20 years, and Gordy for forever, and Marcel Dion. Unfortunately, he was forced into using the system for his betterment and had to move on. And but boy, he was right from day one, and obviously he's one of the best players ever played this game. Incredible talent and smart. Yeah, those 3 guys right off the hop like that.
There is one more. The logo right here. It's beautiful. What do you think when you look at that?
I'm honored to be a part of it. Just to be able to play for the organization. An original 6 franchise. Now on to be on this side. On the management side, and be a part of the 100th anniversary is a huge honor for me.
Steve?
Yeah, an iconic franchise in all of sports. How many have been in all the sports have been around this long? 11-time Stanley Cup champions. We're very lucky to play here. Myself, I got to play my whole career here, and fortunate enough to play on a Stanley Cup team. So it's a great place to play, a great place to live, and a great organization to be a part of.
Mick?
Institutional memory of 100 years, you can't beat it. Very few have it. The logo, every time I either wear it or see it, it's just very, very special to be a part of going into 100 years now, and the celebration that we're going to see throughout the next, maybe 15, 16 months or so. It's going to be a great tribute to the fans, especially that have followed this team since the mid-20s, and can't wait to get her going. It's going to be great. And this, getting her started today with a little hot stove and a hockey talk, looking back and memories, we got a lot of them, and we're blessed to have them.
Yeah. Honored to be in the presence of all of you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.